Buds.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my stream. I'm DC.
We're off to a fantastic start. Let's go.
It's a wonderful start. You can find all the info about me under by typing !DC in chat. Go to dclasair.bio.link for all my info. And thank you all for coming in today. We're talking about our favorite video game franchise, The Legend of Zelda. And but first, I have two incredible guests with me. And I'm going to go around, let them introduce themselves. We'll start on my right. Yes, right, that way. With Robo.
Oh, shoot, that's me. Hi, it's me, Robogoblin. My pronouns are any pronouns. And today I'm going to be playing... Oh, wait. I've been playing a lot, so today I'm just going to be playing Robogoblin. So I'm really excited to be talking about my favorite franchise ever. So yeah, let's go with this.
All right. And then to my other way, Xero.
Hi, everyone. My name is Xero Reynolds, otherwise known as the Evil Mirror Universe Dimension version of DC Lasair. I'm playing no one but me, for I'm an AI construct that just happens to really, really love the Legend of Zelda series.
Excellent. All right. First thing I wanted to do was get our favorite Zelda titles so far. And tell the audience kind of why we love this franchise so much and things like that. So let's start with... let's go in reverse order. So Xero, we'll start with you.
It's actually a tie. My first love would have to be A Link to the Past. And the reason I say that is it established so many of the conventions that carried through to all of the other Zelda games. Before A Link to the Past, there weren't things like the Golden Realm. There wasn't any mention of the King of Thieves. There wasn't any mention of an imprisoning war. The legend part of the Legend of Zelda really wasn't established until that game. That follows on the heels that my second favorite game would have to be, and I know I'm going to get roasted for this online because it's such a cop-out, but it's the Ocarina of Time. Very hard to play these days, not going to lie, but lore-wise, again, it's a seminal moment in the series. It establishes time travel mechanics within the franchise. It goes way, way deeper into the lore, the formation of the Triforce, the idea of this tripartite goddess that has created the world of Hyrule and everything else, and all that has carried forward through all the other games. So it's really those two games that dumped the most geeky goodness on me that really just got me hooked.
All right, Robo.
It's me, Robogoblin. You can... No, wait.
Reset.
Oh, favorite game. Okay, let's just backtrack a little bit. My first game ever was the Ocarina of Time. I played that when it came out. I played it on the I was gonna say GameCube, but that's not it. It's the 64, the Nintendo 64. That was amazing. I got to the Forest Temple, and then I beat the Forest Temple and got into the Water Temple.
Ooh.
I stopped there. I left it for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
I didn't play that Ocarina of Time after 3 years because, oh my God, that was so hard for me. I don't know why. But I finished it after 3 years, and I was so happy because, oh my God, I got the water medallion, and that was so fun. Okay, so my favorite game was the Wind Waker.
Ooh.
I absolutely love that game. It was on the GameCube. I remember playing it for hours because it takes forever to get from one island to another island because you got to travel by the sea. And it's mostly that I love because it was more of a shield game for me. Just traveling the sea, going to every island, meeting out different people. I love the soundtrack. I love every single thing of the lore, and plus, the it has my favorite battle ever against the villain at the end. With spoilers, nobody played the
Spoilers.
spoilers. I mean, you battle against Ganondorf, but the battle was so fun. My second favorite is Breath of the Wild because that game is near perfect in every single game, in every single detail, and every single thing. It's just you traveling, doing whatever. You get to cook, which is probably one of the my favorite things ever to do in a game, just cook. And my third is Twilight Princess because oh my god, that game just brings me back to a really good time. I got to play with my friends and just going to a Twilight realm and doing all the things. But yeah, that's my top three games.
Can I amend my statement, DC?
Yes.
Okay. So you said favorite Zelda games so far. Breath of the Wild is my favorite game to date, period. Like out of my top 5 games of all time, Breath of the Wild is the top, period. And I also try to push it upon people as if there is any entry, any gateway drug you want for the Zelda series, Breath of the Wild is it.
Yep.
All right. My favorite Zelda game is the very first one, The Legend of Zelda. I played that. You're a lone hero, being basically kind of the lonely kid. I was like, ooh, a lone hero. You got a sword, you got a shield. There's some people you find to help you out, as you go and you travel. And I even got this map here of the Zelda. This came out of a book of like Nintendo secrets. I know some of it's green screened out, but that's all green there where you're seeing the background. And it was sort of my gateway drug into adventure and a lot of fantasy stuff and everything else. And then the other games just sort of built on that and had references to each other and everything. And I would explore that game. I think I bombed every single rock I could. I set fire to every single bush I could. I played this game a lot, right?
Same.
I was so happy the day I discovered that if I had a blue potion and I wanted a red potion, I could just buy another blue potion and save some rupees and get a red potion out of it. I was like,
oh, cool.
DC was a menace. DC's no longer allowed in Hyrule because of that. Sorry, not sorry. DC, since we both cut our teeth on the original Legend of Zelda, do you remember what made it such an unusual game back then?
I don't, because again, I was fairly isolated type kid, went to public school, but still just I was me and shy and everything. And so I had no perception of the larger world around me. And I still don't know around the time what made it great other than being like one of the first big adventure games. I didn't understand this was, this game was just like my imagination started to go. It was like, oh, this is all the stuff I thought of since I was, just...
Now, this is just me diving into my Nintendo trivia nerd bag. The Legend of Zelda was one of, if not the first Nintendo cartridge that came with a battery save.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yep.
What?
Yep,
Yeah.
It was the first game that had a battery save. It was completely unheard of at the time. All other Nintendo games had passcodes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Long-ass passcodes.
Justin Bailey, Metroid.
Justin Bailey, yes.
But yes, so the technology in the cartridge had a battery, and it was like, yeah, it'll probably last 5 years was their guess, and
Mhm.
I was a little crushed. I didn't know how much I would move on in 5 years from from this one game. So I'm like, only 5 years, but then it's dead and gone, and that makes me sad to think about. It's not like I could
Just
replace the
wild.
battery, you know.
I replaced my battery. I had to.
Did
Yeah,
you open the cartridge? Or
I did open the cartridge,
Oh
you
yeah.
do that?
wow.
So opening a Nintendo cartridge, very, very easily. Get a butter knife, go up the seam, it pops right open.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was. So this is not Zelda related, but this is just back in my day when you rented video games from like freaking Blockbuster or whatever. They ran into a problem with Nintendo games and Super Nintendo games because kids figured out that you could open the case, swap out the card inside, and turn in a completely different game.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. Which is why you don't see cartridges much like that anymore.
Oh my goodness. I that's just wild to think about that. I never had the NES. I did
Mhm.
have the Super, which was really cool. But the NES, I think my cousin had that at
Mhm.
one time. I remember playing. I don't remember really well, but it was. I think my first game ever on the NES was Final. I want to say Final Fantasy.
Yeah, there was a Final Fantasy on the NES. Yep.
Was there a like a magician sort of guy in the Final Fantasy?
You're gonna have to
Yeah.
be more specific than that.
It was like a full magician. Well, not a magician, like a wizard.
Oh, he looked like a wizard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
There was.
pointy hat. I think he
Yep.
had like a pointy hat. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm remembering that game.
Yep, that was probably
So
the
now
Red
that
Wizard.
we have divulged, what would you care to chat about next?
All right. Well, real quick, I want to post a link in the chat. Nintendo did release some of the original NES instruction manuals. And I recommend looking at the printed version of these to experience what I experienced as a kid. But Zelda and Zelda 2 are not on here. You can look them
wow.
up. I just dropped the link in chat.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't do the electronic version, do the printed version, and you'll get a PDF opened of those original instruction manuals. And you read
It's only
this-
legit if it's. Oh, sorry. It's only legit if it's telling you to call the Nintendo Power Hotline.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And so if you read the intro between Zelda and Zelda 2, you already know that there's some things don't quite line up just between the instruction manuals. So
They didn't know what they were going with at the time.
yeah, right. They had no understanding of how big of a hit this would be or how many games they would make or anything like that. So yeah, that's what I want to get
cool.
into. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about a little bit about the Legend of Zelda.
Sure.
So this was actually a game that you had to read the manual for, right?
Yep.
More or less, yeah. And even though it didn't help much, but yes.
Because I'm just looking at it right now, and it has the map on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It had some map. Saving a game, what your buttons did.
It's just amazing.
It names enemies,
Mhm.
Okay, so this was a game that you have to read the manual for,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't.
No, but then again, even with both games, Zelda 1 and Zelda 2, you can look at the maps, you can read the manual and everything else, and still have no bloody idea what you are supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
Zelda 1 in particular became the first real, again, no internet at the time. So if you had other friends that were playing this thing, y'all would compare notes on your graph paper of I mapped this, and this, and I found these things over here. I bombed this wall, and that's all you could really do. And then when it came time for things like the Lost Woods and the original Legend of Zelda, unless you knew someone that knew the pattern where to go, you're not getting through it. Period.
The Lost Woods wasn't.
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah,
Lost
I
Woods.
see now.
Yeah, and you had to find the specific person to tell you the directions, and they would just say directions. You didn't know where they applied to. They just went. I don't know. Remember what exactly they were, but they just went north, south, east, west, north. That was it. It didn't say go to Lost Woods and do these. You just.
And does it have like the same mechanic that if you go to some way you're not supposed to, it drops you back to the
No, the Lost Woods,
Oh.
that one, the screen would just repeat because you're going the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
And it would just keep resetting and repeating.
Oh my god.
So you could literally sit there for like 3 hours trying to find your way through this thing, and the screen's moving. No idea where you're supposed to go.
You could always back out though. There was a way to if you hit one direction like 2 or 3 times, you could still get out of it. You wouldn't complete it. You wouldn't find what was in there, but you could get out of it. It wasn't like you were trapped, but you were trapped. But
oh
you
my
could.
goodness.
You see, back in our day, Nintendo and Shigeru Miyamoto had a deep-seated hatred of children.
I guess, but holy crap. That was...
Yeah.
Oh man. So did you all actually finish this game before you went into another one?
And the second quest.
And the second quest? What is that?
There was 2 quests. You could play through the game, right, and defeat Ganon and all that. Spoilers: you beat Ganon in the first game, and then
1986. Come on.
Yeah, right. And then there was a second quest, which same goal. You collect Triforce pieces, but the dungeons were different and in different places.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And you can unlock the second quest in the original game on the cartridge by entering your name as Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of information. That's so cool, though.
Mm-hmm. And it got even worse in Adventures of Link. It went from cryptic to absolutely nonsensical.
Oh,
I mean, you have up there with the famous NPC, I am error.
What?
That's all he says. I am error. Does he do anything else? No.
No.
Is he useful for anything else? No.
No.
But you will spend 8 hours scouring that area and all the towns nearby trying to figure out what is up with this dude.
It was just a programming bug they didn't catch.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So that's the NPC.
Or the town that's hidden on the world map until you use a special item. Yep. The town that's hidden on the world map until you randomly decide to chop down a set of trees, of very particular trees. They don't stand out. They're in the middle of a bunch of other trees, but there's a hidden town there if you want.
Oh my god. I'm going to make a note here for my D&D campaign.
Do not. No. Pro tip: do not do this to your players. As we're all DMs here, don't do that to your players. Just don't. It's mean.
No, of course not. But that is so cool, though. And it's that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want. Did you want to talk any more about the Legend of Zelda? Because I'm going to kind of do a transition thing. So
you can.
Okay.
I mean, I can.
All right. Right.
We can move on in games.
So, if you on that link I shared, if you look at the original Legend of Zelda instruction manual, you go to page 34. All the dungeons looked like shapes. Now, in here, you'll notice eagle. That eagle art has transferred over multiple games, and it's even in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
There are references. There are things that, because on page 34 here, each of these eagle, moon, snake, lizard, all those were dungeons, and they had these vague shapes that looked like these things. But that eagle art there, that's on page 34 of the Zelda instruction manual, some theme of it has carried through multiple Zelda games.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And so has things, of course, like Death Mountain, Spectacle Rock. I mean, you can find Spectacle Rock in Breath of the Wild.
Spectacle Rock. Oh, that's really cool. Find the map of the 9 labyrinths and the compass. The map and the compass are very handy for walking about in labyrinths. That's just blowing my mind on.
The other fun thing is next time you play Breath of the Wild, open up the map and zoom in until you can actually see the names of individual things, lakes, rivers, bridges, that sort of thing. Particularly in Hyrule Fields, a lot of those bridges there are named after bosses from the first Zelda. Like 1-to-1.
I didn't know that. That is blowing my mind. I'm going to have to do a redo of the Breath of the Wild.
Absolutely.
Too.
Yep, most of the times are named after the sages in Ocarina, which those sages in Ocarina of Time were named after towns in Zelda 2, Adventure of Link.
That's pretty cool. Oh, I love this. Tell me more lore.
Can do. So, since you have played Breath of the Wild, right, and you have played Ocarina of Time, you can find the ruins of Lon Lon Ranch in Hyrule Fields.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did know about that. Yes, that was interesting too.
And the Spectacle Rock, which you can find just on the outskirts of the Gerudo Desert, which are the 2 big rocks that have the little connecting part between them, and on one of them is a Sheikah Tower. If you go to the other side, there's a place on them that you can bomb to get a few goodies, and it is the exact place you would have bombed in the original game.
I didn't know that. That is so cool, y'all.
There's so much love and attention to detail on Breath of the Wild, and carry through from the previous games. It's like, yeah, it's Eiji Aonumo's baby, but it's clear that everyone who had a hand in this grew up with these games and wanted to put some elements of them in.
Aww. See, now that's really special now.
And if you haven't yet, go check out Xero's stream where he breaks down almost frame by frame the Tears of the Kingdom trailer. Check out that.
I'll go deep dive.
It's amazing.
I go deep dive. I'm such a nerd for this stuff.
When the 3-headed dragon came out, I completely forgot the name Gleeok. I completely forgot he was a boss in the very first game. And then you said the name, I'm like,
yep.
There it is. There it is. A huge dragon that has 2 or 4 heads and spits out beams and Link.
Yep.
Oh.
I just hope it doesn't behave like the Gleeok in the original Legend of Zelda, because the last flipping thing I need is to lop off one of the heads and have it start flying around shooting shit at me. I'm good. I don't need that.
No. Oh my God. Amazing.
Oh, fun little tidbit. There's only one game in the entire Zelda franchise that will deliberately change your save file name if you do something wrong.
Huh.
Really?
In Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, if you steal an item from the shop, if you manage to get around the shop owner, everyone in the game will then thereafter refer to you as thief, and it will never go away until you start a new game.
That's excellent.
Oh my God.
And the shopkeeper will straight up kill your ass.
Really?
If you go back into the shop, he's standing there waiting, and boss music starts up, and he zaps you with a one-hit kill beam. They do not mess around with shoplifters on Koholint Island.
Oh my God. Amazing.
He's just defending
his property.
Wait, so actually, now I'm seeing that here's Goma.
Yeah,
Super
Goma.
huge crab. That was in the Ocarina of Time.
Yep, it was in Ocarina of Time. It was in there was a version of it in Wind Waker. The enemies and the bosses that actually carry over and have that through line. So many of them came from that first game, right? 1 second, sorry, I'm getting distracted by all this Zelda goodness and nostalgia. In fact, the only entry in the entire Zelda continuum, I guess you could say, that has so many creatures that did not carry over necessarily is Legend of Zelda 2. Because we have not seen Goyas, i.e., the boomerang throwing foxes, since that game.
Oh, aw, they're so cute.
They are. They're super cute.
Aw. Is that where Wizrobe came?
Oh, Pole's
out?
voice. Hold on.
With
Robo,
ropes,
you're
yeah.
going to love this. So there's an enemy in the original Legend of Zelda called a Pole's voice. It basically looks like a rabbit head. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
I'm looking at it right now. Yes.
yeah, in the Japanese version of the game on the actual, the original Famicom, there was a microphone built into the controller that you can actually talk into. And the only way to defeat a Pole's voice in that version of the game was to scream into your controller because they hate loud noises.
Okay. Amazing. That's so cool.
We never got that stateside, and I wanted that so bad.
Oh, that should be a thing. Yeah. Oh man, that is so cool to know.
But yeah,
But
this
yeah,
is where Wizrobes came from. And
Yep.
I know Wizrobe because I play the what is the game? Hyrule something that is kind of like Destiny.
Oh, Hyrule Warriors?
Dynasty Warriors. Yeah,
Oh,
Hyrule
yeah.
Warriors.
Yeah.
Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity,
I honestly, I love
same
that
herb.
game.
Yeah, I love that game too.
I really love Hyrule Warriors, especially because my favorite character was Lana, the super cool spellcaster that looks amazing. But I do know that Wizrobe was one of the villains here.
Yep.
And I don't know it was actually from the original game. So that's cool to know.
We also have not seen a like since Ocarina of Time. And the worst thing about the likes in the first one, they kind of look like a stack of pancakes that just kind of do this when they move. When they grab you, they will eat your shield. And it doesn't matter if you have the nice magical shield that you worked so hard for, they will eat it. It's gone now. Good luck.
Like forever, ever?
Forever.
You can
You
get
have to
it
go
back.
get it again.
You have to pay rupees to get it back. So
Yep.
all the rupees, collecting between 1 and 5 that's what the enemies dropped in the first one. You either got a 1 or a 5. So collecting all that back up to 100 or 50 or 75, whatever it was. If you lost your shield, you'd have to do that all over again and go buy it. And
No.
Nintendo hated kids, man. That's all I got to say. They straight up hated kids back then.
I'm looking at the stack of pancakes right now, like a tube-like monster that has a soft spot for magic shield. He eats them up.
Yep.
Amazing. Because I do remember there's, I don't know, the slug kind of slimy thing that is in the Ocarina of Time that just...
Yep,
slurps
those
you
would be
up.
the likes.
Okay. Cool.
I hope we don't see him again. I hate those damn things. I
Yeah.
can leave that bit of Zelda nostalgia behind. Thank you very much.
All right. So, what is your? I'm sorry, it's DC.
No, go for
Are
it.
you doing that precision or
Roundtable discussion. Go for
round
it.
table. Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite monster in all the Legend of Zelda?
Ooh. Can we include bosses?
Yeah.
DC, I'm going to let you go first.
I'm still thinking on that one.
I know. I'm throwing you under the bus. Have fun.
Let's see here. There was one of the Ganon fights I really liked. It was in what was the shoot? No, I can't. I'm blanking on names now. The one before Twilight Princess.
Wind Waker?
Yeah,
no,
Wind Waker. Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask.
Ocarina of Time.
Yes. Let's see here. Yeah, Ocarina of Time. Yeah.
Okay.
The Ganon fight in that, I remember that a lot. That was That was fun. There was like
Mhm.
3 different phases to it, and it was
Are
a
we
tough
talking-
fight.
Are we talking the Ganondorf fight or the Ganon fight?
The
Ganondorf's the human dude.
Yeah,
Ganon's the big pig monster.
the Ganon.
Okay. Oh,
Ganon.
the music for that.
Yes, I was gonna say that. The music for that was so tense too. Especially when Ganon. I'm sorry, I
No, keep
interrupted
going.
you.
Nope, keep
We're
going.
geeking out. It's fine.
It's
I'm
fine.
getting so
Keep
excited
going.
about this game.
Yeah,
Sorry.
keep going.
Okay.
Go.
So when Ganon just slaps your Master Sword away, I was like, "What the hell am I gonna do now? What the hell am I gonna do now?" I remember the first time I ever said that. I'm just gonna throw arrows at it.
Mhm.
Nothing. Okay, cool. Um, I had the big sword.
Big Goron sword.
the big Goron sword, but it was broken. It wasn't the real sword. I remember, and I tried that. It did a little bit, but then I was like, the Megaton hammer, the Megaton hammer. Yes,
Mhm.
let's do that. It worked like a charm. You know, it's like-
Right.
I was like, what am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do? Yeah, that was really tense. The music was so good. Yes.
Mhm. That's what I'm really hoping for in Tears of the Kingdom is that kind of epic level, what do I do now sort of confrontation. Because as much as I love Breath of the Wild, that very final boss fight was a letdown.
Oh yeah, the last.
The
Yeah.
very last one.
Yeah.
Calamity
Yeah.
Ganon was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Dark Beast Ganon?
No.
Not so
Not
much.
Yeah, it was a letdown. I was like, well, okay, that's it. Cool. But
All
yeah,
right, so sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that Calamity Ganon was amazing. It was a really cool
It's-
fight.
Favorite monster from Legend of Zelda series, I have got to go with the boss Bongo Bongo or Ongo Bongo from Ocarina of Time because it was so weird and it was such a kind of if you didn't know what you were doing right out of the gate and you start getting smacked around by something that is giant and invisible. I was a kid, man. That scared the crap out of me. And then you bring up the lens of truth and see what this bloody thing looks like. It's like, okay, it's Tito Puente playing the bongos without a head. That's fun. Okay. Second runner-up, I'd have to give it to Phantom Ganon from Ocarina of Time because I love his look. I love that mask, and that was one of the first DLC, not even DLC, one of the first extra armors I picked up and hunted down in Breath of the Wild just to have that mask back because I love it.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna say that the worst temple ever, probably the worst dungeon ever for me was the Forest Temple one.
Really?
Yeah, the song that is playing the whole time, if I hear it now, it raises my anxiety to peak levels.
no.
I hate that song. It's
Mhm.
like, oh no. By remembering, and I especially remember the thing where the labyrinth or the hall is so crooked or like
Oh, the twisting hall?
yeah, the twisting hall.
Oh,
Mhm.
And then you go through it and then you shoot it and now it's perfectly aligned. I think that's one of my worst nightmares, that the thing is all crooked. Well, anyway, but yeah, sorry, DC, are you ready? Oh, you said already for the
Yeah, I'm done.
monster.
I don't think we've heard your favorite enemy though, Robo.
yeah, your favorite enemy.
My favorite enemy,
Yeah.
it wasn't the Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hands monster.
Oh, Master Hand. Yeah. Oh, I hate those things.
Yeah, the thing that is coming up from the ground, and it's all hands, and if you get closer it just grabs you, and then it comes out like this big amorphous monster that is hunched over and like has a big neck.
Dead
Nightmare
hands.
fuel.
Yeah.
Nightmare fuel, but it's so cool. I love that monster.
And that's another thing that comes from a version of it is in the very first Legend of Zelda called the Wall Master.
Really?
Yep. The Wall Master.
What is it
We're
called?
getting Redeads, the zombies from Ocarina of Time. We're getting them in Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, cool.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that nonsense again. Being petrified by a scream while something wraps itself around
No.
you. Yeah.
No.
I can hear those screams every single place I go. Oh no,
Yeah.
no. Okay, but yeah, that was my favorite monster. Okay, favorite item ever.
Oh, wow. You know, it's a bit of a cop out, but I'm going to say the boomerang because I boomerang everything. I
I
want,
love
in Tears of the Kingdom, I want to New Zealand my best life and make a fish boomerang and just keep going at it.
I love that. Also, Shat, you can say what your favorite item and your
Yes,
favorite
please.
monster is, if you want to, of course. But yeah, the boomerang is so fun.
In the first one, you get two boomerangs. You get one that reaches halfway across the screen. Then you get the magic boomerang, which goes the length of the screen. And that was magical when you could go across the screen with the boomerang. I'm like, ah, yes, I'm going to boomerang you and you and you and you.
I love that.
So mine is one that I understand why they no longer have this one in Zelda games anymore. And it was the Cane of Samaria from Link to the Past. Literally just a shepherd's crook that could create blocks out of thin air. And then when you hit them again, they would explode and hurt enemies. But they were fantastic for solving puzzles, or on certain aspects in certain dungeons, you could use the Cane of Samaria to create a platform over the void, over the darkness, which would just follow this neat little fun little track. Completely situational item, but it was so unique. That's got to be my favorite Zelda item.
Oh, that's cool. That's pretty. I've never heard of that, but that's pretty cool. Also, I'm trying to see here in the original Legend of Zelda, but there's no Master Sword.
No, there's nothing called a Master Sword, nor was there a Master Sword in Zelda 2.
Yeah, there's the magic sword, I think they call it.
Mm-hmm.
At least
there's the wooden sword, the magic sword, and then the final upgraded magic or white sword.
Yeah, you went. It was sword, white sword, magical sword.
Yep. The term Master Sword does not actually appear in a Zelda game, nor any lore behind it, until A Link to the Past.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And like
A Link to the Past. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and we all knew it was the magical sword from the first one. It's like, yeah, no, this is the Master Sword. We're all calling this the Master Sword now. This was always the Master Sword. So,
so a lot of people forget just how much of the established lore that we take for granted was first introduced in A Link to the Past. Like so much of this stuff, the Master Sword, the Golden Land, all that stuff. That was the first game it came out in.
That you needed a certain so in Breath of the Wild you need a certain amount of hearts to pull the Master Sword out. That started in the first Legend of Zelda because you needed either 5 or 7 hearts to pull the white sword, and then I forget how many ever you needed for the magical sword.
Oh yeah, you needed almost the complete heart collection for the magical sword.
And Duval's in chat who wants to do it.
Hey, Duval!
I do ball. Oh, come on.
Yeah, strike it. That's it.
Yep. 5
for the white, 13 for the magical.
Yep.
Okay, so that's not a new concept then.
No.
The Master Sword with only hearts then?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Complete throwback to the very first game. Before then, it was like, do you have enough jewelry? You can't pull the sword unless you have these 3 pieces of jewelry. We don't know why. You just really need these 3 pieces of jewelry, okay?
But that it took your life force. That took you enough power of yourself to be able to wield the sword. That was cool.
Or you can just wander across a creepy old dude in a cave who's just handing out weaponry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean,
I see when he does it, it's an adventure. But when I do it, I get kicked out of Lowe's. Game recognizes game.
Lol. Oh man. Okay. So my favorite item ever is the one from Skyward Sword. It was the beetle.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I love that thing. I love that thing so much. And it's also in the one of the Super Smash Brothers game. I love to put it just as an item that just picks you up and just takes you on into infinity. But yeah, I love that. I also love the powers that you get from Nairu's Love and Furore's Wind, I think it was, and Din's Fire. Those were absolutely pretty cool. Love those.
Oh, for sure, Duval. Rock's Feather in Link's Awakening. What do you mean Link can jump? This
Yeah,
is amazing.
Jumping? What? Another third dimension? What?
Yeah.
You're letting us use the Z-axis?
So the funniest thing about Link's Awakening on that one, because of course you get the Rock's Feather very, very early on in the game. You're able to jump around with it. I remember that for months I was stuck on the final boss of the game because the nightmare turns into a giant eye. It's got arms that are rotating around them. They pretty much can hit you anywhere in the room. And I'm dying over and over again. It's like, how the fuck do I beat this thing? And I happen to be flipping through a Game Informer. And I see a thing for Link's Awakening. And there's the final boss. And I see that the screenshot has Rock's Feather equipped. And it never occurred to me to jump over the Wrecking Ball arms.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Oh yeah, Fairies Wind, Nairu's Love, Din's Fire for sure.
Yes.
I want Magic back.
Yes. I want Magic back too. I love that. I mean, I love in Breath of the Wild that you can use shoot, especially now in the Tears of the Kingdom, that you can use your items to like shoot arrows and never miss a hit. Love that. Love that.
I am going to abuse that system so hard.
The creating stuff, the fusing stuff.
Oh, they're turning me loose in Hyrule with the ability to craft. I mean, I'm going to be a problem.
I'm going to be a problem for Hyrule. Wanted, yes.
So on that note, I mean, do we want to start traipsing into Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom territory?
All right, let's do it.
All right. So, we talked a little bit about stuff carrying through series, and as Xero has pointed out, that there is a lot from all the games that, or all the timelines, I should say, that are in Tears of the Kingdom. And one of the things I noticed, and this is why I brought up the eagle earlier, is because in one of the first screenshots, Link is on top of something that looks like an eagle that has that familiar form.
The stone glider thing?
Yeah, the stone glider thing. And also the eagle is part of the Hyrule Castle banner coming up.
The Royal Crest.
Yeah, the Royal Crest, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also a reference to Kaepora Gaebora, the owl that makes its first appearance in Link's Awakening, helping Link off the shoreline, and then makes a much stronger appearance and becomes a series staple in Ocarina of Time. The large owl that kind of guides you.
Yes. Okay. Now it all makes sense. Amazing. Oh, geez.
Which is also the name that is inscribed on the twin swords that Ganon uses at the end of Wind Waker. Completely irrelevant detail. Oh, wow. This is where I lived.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So if you ever actually look at the model of Ganon from the final fight in Wind Waker and his two swords, on one sword is inscribed in Hylian Kaepora, on the other one Gaebora.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That just blew my mind. I never actually knew that.
I know way too much about this.
No, that's what I love.
Worthless. It's worthless trivia. This is my role in life.
I am here for all the lore. That's what makes that.
Well,
yes.
That being the case, and since we are finally after 17 years, damn near, getting Ganon back into the game. Would you like to know some Ganon lore?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So since you played Ocarina of Time, you know Ganondorf's background as the king of the Gerudo, the king of the thieves, and that the Gerudo only have a single male born to them once a century. But of course, by the time we get into Breath of the Wild, Gerudo Town exiles all its males. A male is still born every century. They're just not allowed to be kept in the city. By this point, everything has been diluted to myth so hard that they don't understand why. They just do it because it's the way it's always been. Ganondorf's full name is Ganondorf Dragmire, as revealed in the instruction booklet for A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And his first real backstory we did not get to discover, even from Ocarina of Time, until interviews after the fact, when it was revealed that Twin Rova, the boss of the Spirit Temple, the two old ladies who turned into the one witch, are his surrogate mothers. They are the ones who raised him. They are the ones who taught him all the black magic that he knows. And it is enshrined in the timeline just before Ocarina of Time that Ganondorf led a rebellion against the kingdom of Hyrule and attempted to take it over. So by the time y'all see him in Ocarina of Time, when you're young Link talking to young Zelda peering through the window and saying, "See that man with the evil eyes?" He was literally kneeling to the king in supplication to agree to the peace treaty, effectively. So by that point, he already had designs on the kingdom long before any of this other stuff really kicked off. And going back even further, he is every Zelda game you play is usually with a different Link and a different Zelda. However, Ganondorf is always the same. It is always the same Ganon. It's just in 3 different timelines. There is only one Ganon. So in each one of those timelines, all those games, it is the same Ganon, who is an aspect of the demon Demise from way back in Skyward Sword. His incarnation of my hatred shall follow the bloodline of the hero, the bloodline of the goddess Hylia.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, and I notice a lot of theory crafters drop the ball on this one. Demise was at odds with the original 3 goddesses who created Hyrule. The 3 goddesses who, at the point they left the Triforce, created the goddess Hylia, who then took on human form, thus the lines of Zelda's.
Mm-hmm.
Demise, through his incarnation Ganon, has a piece of the Triforce, has a piece of the goddess's power. Hence why he can never truly be killed, ever. It is literally, that is like the devil getting a piece of God's Triforce of creation, effectively. So
Yeah.
Ganon, as we know him, and that is kind of tragic, honestly, with this incarnation of Ganon. He doesn't know why he does what he does. He doesn't. He just knows he is driven to conquer. He is driven to sow, chaos and derision and stand at odds against the royal family and definitely against the hero, but he has no idea why. So that monologue from him during Wind Waker, where we see him as basically at his lowest when he finally realizes why he's been doing everything he's doing, and the only answer he can come up with is there was a sweet wind of life that swept across Hyrule. Its green fields, its deep forests. Where I come from, the wind only carries one thing: death. I suppose I coveted that wind. That's it. And he will continue doing it because he has no other choice. And that is your lesson on why Ganon is actually a tragic villain.
That just shifted my whole idea on Ganon. Yeah, wow.
Glad to be of service. And now
Damn.
he's voiced by Matt Mercer, so
Oh,
I'm gonna feel doubly bad about killing him this time.
That's out now? That's actually a thing now?
Oh yeah, he's voiced by Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer was finally able to make the announcement. So in Tears of the Kingdom, Ganon is voiced by Matt Mercer.
Oh hell yeah! Oh, I do remember seeing Matt Mercer cosplay in Ganondorf.
Oh yeah, back the web series There Will Be Brawl. Yep.
So now to actually have an ass Ganondorf. Holy crap!
What a wild circle, right?
Yeah, I love that for him. So glad.
Which brings us neatly into the idea of Breath of the Wild into Tears of the Kingdom. For those of you who have not been able to play the game, are worried that you need to know all of this stuff before you play the game, you don't. 100% you don't, because literally Breath of the Wild takes place so many thousands of years after the original games that all of that stuff pretty much doesn't matter unless you're just a Zelda nerd. Breath of the Wild and then into Tears of the Kingdom, 100% its own thing. And they will fill you in very, very nicely on what Hyrule is now, because that's what matters. That's all that matters. How Hyrule is now. And Hyrule in Tears of the Kingdom is definitely a nation state that is trying to rebuild after 100 years of pure, unadulterated suck. And I am very much looking forward to it.
God, that's good.
Yep.
I'm still on Ganondorf of Ganon being. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, please, by all means.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say that I'm still thinking about now Ganon being an actual tragic hero.
He was definitely a hero to his people in Ocarina of Time when he led the uprising against Hyrule. Very much a freedom fighter figure. Of course, the problem is by the time we get around to adult timeline in Ocarina of Time, and he's truly become not the Demon King just yet, but definitely the King of Thieves and everything. He turned into an absolute despot. Anyone who would stand against him would be turned into a monster or thrown in prison. He would have black magic use against them, the whole 9 yards. So it was only a very by the time you go back to Gerudo Valley in Ocarina of Time as adult Link, any of the Gerudo you see still there are the ones who are either brainwashed or just 100% loyal to Ganondorf because he's lining their pockets. That's why you get characters like Nabooru, who is leading a small contingent saying, no, this isn't right. We need to stand up to this dude. And that's why she ends up becoming a sage.
Okay.
And
so yeah, sure.
Go so we were talking a little bit before stream because it's Zelda. We were going to talk about before stream and during stream and after stream. That of the different things from different timelines being in that trailer. And I had this theory that they're trying to make just a new timeline of starting with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and carrying that forward instead of trying to go back and shuffle things around in the past and everything like that, because it does get a little messy in parts.
Just a little bit.
And especially with the ability to reverse time on, say, a boulder or items or whatever, there might be more time in play than we think, as well as going through different timelines, but also different periods in those timelines, and we see different versions of Zelda as well. So that might be connected in some way. That's just a guess. There's no hard evidence of any of that.
I want Robo to weigh in on this one because I have a theory on this one too, but I've been running at the mouth damn near this entire time. I want to hear Robo weigh in.
On the theories? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the last trailer, we see this figure that looks evil as hell, right? And it's not Ganondorf. It's looks female. I could be wrong, but they have like horns,
like the hair bun things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is that person? I don't know. My theory is that we're gonna have like all the memories thing again, and that's actually a person that was like predecessor of Ganondorf, and they know how to do all the evil stuff. My other theory is that they're actually twin Roba, or some kind of predecessor or whatever it is, but also we see another person who is doing like this, holding one of the tears of the kingdom. I'm just gonna call it the tears, the golden tears. Sorry. So my theory is that that person is going to be the predecessor of our Zelda, the Breath of the
Okay.
Wild Zelda. And yeah, that's a lot of stuff. But why is Ganondorf on the bottom? Why are we going underworld? I want to hear your theories of why are we going underworld, if that's even a thing, and then we're going into essentially Skyloft or the new Skyloft or whatever.
Skyrule.
Skyrule. Yeah.
Yeah. So my own theories on it all has to do with the logo for the game. And the reason I say that is ever since Majora's Mask, the development team for the Zelda games has been very, very deliberate in how they design their logos. It always contains an element that is a key part of the story or central to the story's plot, basically. So with Majora's Mask, you have the titular mask. With Spirit Tracks, of course, the train. With Wind Waker, you have the King of Red Lions, and that whole plot twist turning out to be, King of Hyrule. With Breath of the Wild, you had not much in the way of giveaway except for the silhouette of a silent princess, that flower that they tried to recultivate and spread across Hyrule. That's really having a hard time. That doesn't come back until Zelda returns. Well, it's there in the name. It's a silent princess. Yes, Zelda's communicating to us during that game, but she's trapped in Hyrule Castle, keeping Calamity Ganon at bay. In this new logo, everyone was focused so much on the Zonai aspect of it, the Zonai architecture and aesthetic, that they missed the forest for the trees. Yes, there are two Zonai dragons, but it's also an Ouroboros. It is a symbol for infinity and time eating itself, time being circular. What I think we're seeing here and what the game is going to try to do is coalesce the timelines into a new beginning. And then we will basically have the lead up to the myths and legends that were handed over to us during the time of Skyward Sword. I think that Zelda, when she's falling, go watch the trailer again. Right before it cuts away from her, you see her shining, her power flaring up. She gets sent somewhere. That is the exact same thing that happens when she teleports Link at the end of Breath of the Wild to go fight Dark Beast Ganon. She's going somewhere, and I believe some when. Because one of the things that they kept mentioning about the Zonai in Breath of the Wild and in a lot of those tapestries was this was a technologically advanced, very magical tribe that existed thousands of years ago and vanished. There are two other groups in the entire Zelda timeline that this similar description has been made about. The tribe that made Majora's Mask and the Twilight. The Twilight, a very powerful magic-using tribe who was sealed away. They vanished. They're gone. I think we're going to see the through line of the Zonai through all of these, including the Sheikah, just because of the bleed over between their technologies. And I think Zelda gets thrown back into the past. Remember, at the end of the trailer, she says, "Link, you must find me." Well, if she's in Skyrule or Hyrule, should be easy enough. No, she is removed from the timeline. We're seeing very much a Skyward Sword situation where she's back in the past. We might have to go back there at some point. And I think she's working with the Zonai, the figure that addresses her. All the implements that she's wearing, the implements that the character's wearing, very, very Zonai. The figure that we see that's kind of standing there with the, you said they looked like horns and everything else.
Yeah.
That to me, the outfit looks like Zonai. I think that's a mask. And because behind them, to one side, you see a Rito warrior. It's hard to make out, but it's a Rito warrior. To the other side, you see a Gerudo warrior. I think that might be a flashback to the era where they tried to face off against their calamity and lost and went away. So this is basically a way to coalesce the three timelines, to correct the mistake of the Zonai's failing, and thus kickstart an entire new cycle in the Legend of Zelda.
Okay, so who are the Zonai?
The Zonai, Breath of the Wild, whenever you're in the jungle areas and you see those stone dragons and things like that, You remember that from the jungle area?
Oh, okay.
And the labyrinths that had the shrines in the very center of them,
Yeah.
the mazes,
Uh-huh.
those are all Zonai architecture. And the armors that you would get from them that would boost your attack, that make you kind of look like a barbarian with skulls and feathers and things like that, those are Zonai. And the only thing we know about Zonai from that game and later on the art book was that they were a very, very powerful magical tribe. People keep saying it's talking about them worshiping Ganon, and I went back and read and was like, it doesn't say anything about that. It just says, they came across Ganon at one point. But by the time of Breath of the Wild, they've been gone for thousands of years. I mean, they're effectively the Maya at this point, with only their ruins left behind. But we have it confirmed, of course, from the gameplay trailer, from this last trailer, everything else, that at least around Zelda, wherever she is, whenever she is, these Zonai are alive and well. So that harkens to me, unless we have had just a few Zonai just kind of hanging out in stasis, I don't know, and they suddenly come to the present. No, this is definitely, we're looking at the past here. And I think something happened to Zelda, because as the figure is speaking to her and saying, we need to rely on your knight with his magical sword, as I smack my microphone, and he says, Link. The look on her face, the sound in her voice is she's remembering who Link is. Something's happened to her memory at that point in the game. So
she doesn't.
Again, it's a theory. I could be absolutely wrong.
Oh, that's wild. That's wild. That is mind-blowing too, because I remember that in Skyward Sword that you can go back, there's the door of time, right? So that could be the thing that leads you back to Zelda, I guess. Oh man, I do know that there's going to be like 7 tiers of the kingdom.
Yep, we're finally getting back to that. I'm actually excited for that.
Yes,
because Breath of the Wild, you didn't have anything to really collect except for orbs for hearts and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
So you're telling me that after all the time that I took to regain the Master Sword to full power and went into have the power of the Rudo there, and I can fly or do the gale and do everything, I lost everything now?
Yeah.
That's BS.
Yep. It'll get really smacked out of you somehow. Yeah.
That's really it.
And then dehydrated Odell's beef jerky version of Corpse Ganon will smear some grape jelly on your sword. It'll break. It'll be absolutely worthless. You've voided the warranty. Super sorry. Better luck next time.
Oh yes, Daddy. Smack all the grape jelly you want from me. So
yep. Oh wow.
Sorry.
Welcome to Zelda After Dark.
No. I'm sorry, DC. Are you gonna go ahead?
Oh, I was gonna. We should take a break. And come back in about 5 minutes or so, and we'll continue on and more theories. And I want to talk about a character that's in the Zelda series that is kind of in the background, but very cool.
If it's Tingle, I'm gone.
It is not Tingle.
Okay.
Coolly-ba.
But now that you say it,
stop
now.
And with that, we'll be right back. See you in 5. So 5. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody.
That's how Robo lost all of his rupees on the open market.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't have a problem. I can stop anytime I want.
Hold on, I gotta tell Pretzel to be quiet here. Pretzel, be quiet.
Shut up, Pretzel.
Pretzel, no.
Okay, there we go. Pretzel's quiet again until it decides not to be.
Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, talking about the hotness that is Ganondorf. Holy crap, is that guy so hot? Holy crap. I'm asexual, by the way, but that guy can get it.
So, would you like to know of a fun little aside about the current design of Ganondorf?
Mm-hmm.
Catherine said I could cosplay him. I might just have to.
Awesome.
Do it. I'm just gonna say, do it.
I'm gonna have to negotiate it because he only has the chin beard, so
Mhm.
that would require some shaping, and yeah, I'll have to
Okay.
have a back and forth with my significant other because I'm not allowed to shave the beard. Period.
Because
No, I love your beard.
I like
And the thing
Ganon,
is,
you're
do it.
evil, and I know I'll have to take care of you, but could we, cuddle first or something?
Raising second beard. Oh, I'm talking about this part, love. I'm just gonna say that I'm an OC alternate version of that particular Ganon who has the full beard and mustache, so I don't have to mess with that stuff.
Do it. Do it. But yeah. Sorry, were we going to talk about something else? Just
No,
started
No, we
talking
can totally talk about
Ganon.
Ganon. Because I noticed something. For those of you who don't know me, I'm also an illustrator. I noticed something pretty amazing about this particular design and incarnation of Ganon, in that it is blending um, all three timeline versions of Ganon, or at least Ocarina and then two others, into his design. You have elements of his original Gerudo King look from Ocarina of Time. You have elements of his warlord look from Twilight Princess, and you have elements of his sort of robe, almost kimono from Wind Waker,
Oh yeah. Oh,
including a sword at the ready.
does he have the sword? Let me see. Made the mistake of looking up Ganondorf in Twitter. That's a mistake. No,
That was a big mistake. Yes.
let's go to the other. Okay, okay, yeah, okay,
Yep.
yeah. You're totally right. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks really similar to the Wind Waker. I'm seeing that now.
So,
Mhm.
and we have, again, we see Zelda with what appears to be a master sword at some point. We have Link and
Mhm.
his sword. We have Ganon and his sword. We also have these tiers that seem to will connect various people in some fashion
Mhm.
or have some meaning that's connected. So
Yes.
we
In the
have.
trailer, if I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, in the trailer, if I am correct, I'd have to double check this again. We see at least 5 of the tiers. Zelda has one. Ganon has one in his forehead. Sidon has one. Teba's son has one. Riju, grown up now, has one as an earring. So there are all these key characters that have these tiers. Now, don't know at what point in the game we're seeing this kind of stuff, but I'm honestly thinking that bringing these things together or using them to unlock other things. They might be dungeons, they might be some greater central thing to defeat Ganon. Ganon's is going to be definitely the last one, but
Mhm.
also there carries over nicely because there are 7 tiers of the kingdom that we may be seeing the birth of 6 new sages in this game.
Yep, that's exactly my thought. And I do remember that in the first trailer of the Tears of the Kingdom, there's the mural, right?
Yeah.
So I remember there was the seven tiers, and there
Hmm.
was a person in the middle
Hmm.
that was going like this.
Yeah, had hands up like
Yeah, it
this
was.
thing. Yeah.
Who is that person? Why do we need the seven tiers? So my theory, again, just my theory, is that we're gonna rebuild the Master Sword again with the tiers,
Hmm.
or just
So
power it up again.
So think back to that mural because this harkens back to something else you were discussing. Think of that weird looking figure in that mural
Mhm.
with the 2 big things coming off their head. Now think to the newest trailer with that evil looking figure that you were talking about with the
Oh,
horns. That's the same shape. That's the same silhouette. That's the same character.
yeah. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Oh crap!
Yep.
Oh man, there's so many theories going around my head
Pepperidge
now.
Farms remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah, you're totally right.
So I'm thinking again, it's pure theory. I think that character is if not totally good, maybe just morally gray. I don't think it's an enemy. But I think that is going to be very central to the relevance of these tiers and how they come together. But someone had raised an interesting point that the first teaser shot that we see of Ganon from this last trailer, it's got massive freaking flowing hair and everything else, and the design's just a little bit different. I'm wondering if we might not be getting a flashback of Demise, even if it's just an over image overlaid onto Ganon, because that was very Demise-like.
Yeah, I see that now. The flowing hair, but okay. Yeah, probably. I'm sorry, DC. What are your theories on that?
Yeah.
I do like the theory of demise, like a part of Demise coming together. And you had mentioned earlier, why are we below underground? And I think it's kind of core to this idea of the calamity of this rotten things that came up out of the earth and destroyed it. We see that big castle come out of the desert, which could be the Gerudo Desert for all I know. And thus again connecting to Ganon being from that tribe and everything like that. And yeah, it's just sort of that kind of traditional not quite the right word, but that theory of that underground evil coalescing into something else, something new, or at least a rebirth of it in a form that is not known to this current time but has been spoken of before.
The temple that raises up in the desert in that final trailer, my theory is that is the Arbiter's grounds from Skyward Sword, that dungeon. But more importantly, since we already know through AG Newman and the team that this story is going to be very, very dark. And I know everyone likes to reference, is it going to be Majora's Mask dark? And I'm like, y'all are completely forgetting about Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess, story-wise, is the darkest story in the entire Zelda series. I'm wondering if we're going back to the idea of the Hyrule royal family not being squeaky clean. Because in Ocarina of Time, you find that they maintained a torture dungeon. The royal family of Hyrule maintained a torture dungeon. Horrible things happened down there. What if way back when, say this timelines, at the end of Twilight Princess, got a sword run through him, the
breaking up.
Xero, you're
happened.
Hello? You're breaking up a little bit, Xero. Hello, can you hear us?
Oh no.
Oh, there you are.
I can hear you.
Okay, there you are. Okay.
Are we good?
Yep, you're good. You came back. Your internet's back.
Where did I lose you?
You were talking
dungeon.
Yeah. You lost us in the torture
chamber.
dungeon. I mean, if you want to find us in the torture dungeon, that'd be cool. But
it's like that was the game that set up that no, the Hyrule royal family is not all pristine. Then you have Twilight Princess with Zelda basically giving away the store by surrendering the entire kingdom, right? So what if end of that game, Ganon's body is still right there. He's got a sword through him. He's had his neck snapped, whatever. The body is still there. That body contains the Triforce of Power. What if the Hyrule royal family buried it deep?
Yeah.
What if this is all those chickens coming home to roost?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. So what is the hand though that it's
So yeah, a lot of theories on that one, but the only thing we know for sure, because of them being finally confirmed, is that it is something to do with the Zonai. It seems like old Zonai magic to hold this dude in place, and whatever seals were placed on him, they weakened a long time ago because his hatred keeps pouring out. That's the calamity. It's literally just his purified malice that pours out and busts out of the ground, every 1,000 years or so. I'm just thinking at this point when they go looking, because Zelda's smart. That's what I love about the Breath of the Wild Zelda. She is
Mhm.
book smart. She is into
Yes.
technology. She loves studying. She loves history. This is my favorite Zelda. So she would go look for an answer. She would want to dig deeper to understand all these mysteries. Why the Sheikah machines had been buried, why the then king of Hyrule had effectively banished the Sheikah, all these things. And it leads them to, like, for instance, the final fight with Calamity Ganon takes place in an area unlike the rest of the castle. You are in a Sheikah observatory,
Mhm.
basically, has all the star patterns mapped out, the entire, guess you could say, skyline of Hyrule, the mountains, and all that stuff. It's unlike anything else. What was its purpose? What was it for? Why was Ganon suspended above this particular place?
Yeah.
So maybe that would make them go a little deeper. They already know about the caverns and catacombs beneath Hyrule Castle around that time. They might want to go a little deeper. So I really think it's like I've known some other Zelda lore podcasts and stuff that theorize otherwise. I think Ganon's body is beneath Hyrule Castle. I think that it was um, held there, at times experimented with, perhaps by otherwise well-meaning but morally questionable members of the Hyrule royal family lineage, and that Zelda getting down there, and you've got Zelda, Link, and Ganon. That's the Triforce right there, and their proximity is what makes Ganon go, "Okay, we're doing this. We're playing the feud. Let's go."
Yes. That is very interesting to see. Because I also, yes, this is my favorite Zelda of all
Mhm.
the Zeldas. She's really smart, and I think that's what's gonna happen. That they're gonna find something about all the calamity stuff, and they're
Mhm.
gonna start digging in. Zelda's gonna be like, okay, I see something here, and they're gonna go underground, which I think it's not exactly on. It could be. Now that I think about it, my first thought it was not gonna be under the castle, but
Mhm.
under something else. I'm still wondering about that, but now that you say that it could be the royal family hiding the body of
Mhm.
Ganondorf underground, that also could be very interesting to see.
It's just I just also remember when the Calamity took over. If you remember, surrounding Hyrule Castle, there's all these like huge pillars sticking up out of the ground that have the
Hmm.
Sheikah designs and everything on
Mhm.
them. When those were activated, those are what poured out a lot of guardians. Guardians
Hmm.
were housed in these giant things, and they came out of those. So my question being, given how long ago the Sheikah had built this technology, given the fact that where Hyrule Castle is right now isn't even where it was way back in the distant past, it would have been up on the secluded plateau where you find the Temple of Time.
Yes.
So why have all that technology there?
Hmm.
Why have all that stuff ready to go at a moment's notice if it wasn't standing as a warden guarding something else?
Ah, damn. Yeah, I see that now. That's wild.
DC, I'm gonna have to ask you to tone it back, Betty. You just keep running, keep going. Can't get a word in edgewise.
Yeah. Well, I am thinking about all that, and I have different points I want to bring up, and so I don't want to derail
Yes, yes,
Sure,
current
sure, sure.
the current
yes,
thing.
yes, yes.
But going kind of a theme I noticed, and I touched on this earlier, where and it, it's something that I go, oh, that's cool, and a little personal as well, at least for me, is that when I said I liked the Legend of Zelda, that I mentioned being a fairly lonely kid, and here's this lonely hero going out, and now, and a lot of times, Link, sure, there was NPCs that were helpful to him. They didn't really have friends per se. He had the fairy, but that was more for you, the player, than for
Hmm.
Yeah.
Link. And now we have this advancement where he has not only friends but peers that fight with him,
Mm-hmm.
and I just go, and
Yeah. Oh.
The way my heart sang on that line in the final trailer of "You will not be alone" or "You will not fight alone." And I'm just like,
mhm.
I got chills when I heard that because now that you're saying that, DC, that yeah, that feels so good to just see Link with another group of people and who is always alone and now has friends. Granted, their his friends actually passed away, and
mhm.
but now he has amazing new friends.
And also we see the rest of Hyrule actively taking a role in their own defense,
Yes.
which
Mhm.
was stellar.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just the random one-off NPC in Hyrule Field who might be fighting against the Bokoblin, we got an entire field of people making a defense and barricades, and we've got the dude wearing a bucket because it's the only armor he has. Incidentally, I am 100% Team Bucket.
I love
Yes.
that guy. Yes. I saw that. Yeah, fair enough. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go fight.
And that,
Also,
Man.
oh,
one happy occasion when I was talking about the trailer during my own stream, I was lamenting that we had not seen Yunobo, the Goron descendant, in the
Mhm.
entire trailer. I mean, we see Sidon, we see Teba's kid, and we see Riju, but we hadn't seen Yunobo. But we did. We absolutely did. They just don't show him.
Yeah.
So during the shot when all the heroes are running together, if
Mhm.
you look, in between two of them comes the end of one of those boulder crusher
Yes.
weapons of the
Yes.
Goron.
yes.
And I'm like, there he is. Why aren't you showing him? I want to see my sweet, adorable, shielding baby boy.
It's probably my favorite NPC. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Ah,
And yeah, I really like the characters. And another thing that is kind of always in the Zelda series is that when you visit a town, they're they're kind of fun NPCs for the most part.
Mhm.
mhm.
There's joy there, there's happy, and then when you go away from those, you're on your own. You know, there's darkness, there's lone. But when you're in town, there's fun. There's
Mhm.
these joyful NPCs doing these weird things and everything. And I just that's just one of the things about the series I really like is that yes, there's darkness all around, but there's also these pockets of joy you can travel to.
Mhm.
Oh, that's really pretty. Yeah. It's like everybody lives in their own world, or they're just trying to find some happiness in all this destruction.
And evidently, mushrooms are very, very popular in Hateno Village now, according to that trailer, which I'm fine with. I love mushrooms, but like,
I
okay.
love mushrooms. Yeah.
I
Good
have a
for
question for
mushrooms.
you too.
Hmm.
Because I genuinely have no theories on this whatsoever, and I would love to hear you two take a crack at this. In the new game, and we've seen this from the footage, the Sheikah shrines are gone. They're
Mhm.
not just dormant, they are gone. The Sheikah towers are gone. What do you think happens, and what do you think is going to replace them?
All
Excuse me.
right. Well, we talked about the Guardians, and we don't really see the Guardians either.
Do we?
Yep.
And so maybe it was like our purpose is done. We're gonna go shut down now, and they all gather back and go back into their
Mhm.
underground. That's just the theory I came up with on the spot, but
Yeah. No, that's good. I'm curious because it's like, what is going to be the fast travel system?
yeah,
I don't think there's gonna be an actual fast travel now. I don't know. It's weird to think about that, but now that everything is up in the sky,
Mm-hmm.
I just think that every single one of those pieces, well, not pieces, of those floating islands are gonna be the new shrines.
Okay.
We're gonna collect a lot of new stuff there. We're gonna collect the. We're probably gonna find the eagle or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. Um, we're gonna get a lot more items or upgrades to our new system that we have to build and construct stuff. But
Mhm.
as far as travel, we're probably gonna have to go up to come down.
Yeah, because there is the new wingsuit that was in that
Yes.
trailer,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
I'm really excited about. But that also leads to I have so many theories about this, but the Skylands, the Sky Islands, Skyroll, the only pieces that we know of for sure that came from the ground are the Zonai labyrinths, the mazes float up into the sky. But none of the other areas are featured anywhere in Hyrule, especially
Hmm.
not those golden trees. So here's the question: did they come from Hyrule, or did they appear in the sky?
Yes. I don't know. That's for to me. Everything is there's something's gonna happen. Like right before. I don't know. Okay, another question. Is Ganondorf gonna appear right at the beginning or at the end or in the middle?
I think right at the beginning,
Hmm.
honestly,
Hmm.
that
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 was
would that would at least set the tone for the okay, things have gone sideways. You know what you have to do now. This is your goal, effectively.
yeah. So why is he waiting? He's just waiting for us to go to him.
It seems like from his dialogue and from what we see of the new monsters that he awakens, he rehydrates, he gets himself a Gatorade, whatever. Um, and the blood moon is going to have another impact on it, but it seems more like he's directly in control of it
Hmm.
and that he is literally sending out his magic to amp up his monsters. And his directive to them was not conquer, it was not capture, it is destroy Hyrule and her allies. So at this point, he's going to feel he's cocky. He's going to feel safe and secure in wherever he holds up. And in the meantime, there may be something like in other Zelda games, where there's a barrier that you have to have so many things before you can open it and get to Ganon, or there might be some kind of shield that he puts around, and haha, you can't touch me. The blade of evil's bane has been shattered by my grape smucker's jelly. Whatever. It's gonna be something where he's gonna be there, he's gonna be active, he's going to be pursuing his goals. We just can't get to him yet and get him to shut the fuck up.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That was actually two because so we need the 7 tiers to do
Mm-hmm.
something.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably gonna have to get those. Are we gonna go back in time and back to the real world? That's TBD. But yeah, we're probably gonna need those to open up the barrier that is holding this new the new castle, the black castle that Ganondorf has.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're gonna collect all the this is just my theory. We're gonna collect all the tiers. We're gonna open up a barrier that's gonna somehow gonna connect back to the past or
Mm-hmm.
wherever Zelda is and open up that gate or the door of time. So we can actually get together again in the present and just defeat Ganon or
Mm-hmm.
Ganondorf. Are we gonna see Ganon again? TBD.
That's the question. Yeah.
Mhm.
DC, what you think?
I'm thinking I like this discussion a whole lot, is what I'm thinking right now.
DC is thinking, I'm happy to be here.
I love this too.
How
Yeah.
about an
All
easier
right.
one?
And,
Let's go
oh,
a la
okay.
carte. What's something that you really want out of this new game? As fellow Zelda fans, what is something you really want to see or something you really want out of this game?
Fish boomerang. No.
Yes.
I really just want the fuse power. I don't know how long in the game we get it, but it's going to be on all our minds until we get it. And it's like, is it how it works? Is it part of that new dark arm, whatever that is, the grape jelly that goes on Link's arm? How is that all connected? And how does that generate fuse and stuff? And I'm really excited. I really want to do that minecart battle. You see where
Yes. Oh,
where
man.
there's the fan fused to the minecart, but you're you're just swapping. So I so want to do that part.
Mhm.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And I just one thing the Legend of Zelda series has is these wonderful, wonderful weapons and items to collect. And now they can make them, but what else is there for us to use and do things with?
Mhm. Mhm.
And how to
Robo?
use them to solve
sorry.
puzzles and everything like that. It'd be beautiful.
Yeah. I want to have my own robot so I can walk over all Hyrule. That is when I saw that in the trailer. That's it. This is the best game ever. Game of the year, game of the century, whatever it is. I saw that and yes, I'm in. I'm so in. But yeah, this is gonna be wild because I didn't even see a sword. No, the Link had a sword in the trailer, right? Like a weird
Yes.
looking sword.
Yes.
It was a wavy one, I think.
Yeah, he had several different weapons in the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw the one before the dragon. He had like a ice one, a nice one.
Yeah, it looked kind of like crystalline
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's is there gonna be like an actual master sword? Is there's just the master sword is gone? New story. Who
Mhm.
this? Is that gonna be it?
Well, I mean, we did get that line from the mysterious figure who was addressing Zelda, specifically saying, "We need your knight, Link, and that magical sword he carries." So,
Mhm.
Master Sword's going to get repaired
Mm.
at some point. What that entails, no freaking idea. But I think that is going to be a part of it, and it's not going to be one of those things of like Breath of the Wild, where so long as you have the hearts, you can go and get the Master Sword whenever you want.
Mhm.
And fun fact, even if you don't get the Master Sword in the cutscenes when you go into the castle, you have the Master Sword in your hand. Oops.
Mhm.
But I think it's going to be something that's going to be pushed more towards mid to end game, for at least repairing the Master Sword, and that might be like the final key or whatever to get get at Ganon or things like that. What I want, another thing. I already have permission from Catherine when I build my robot in that game that anytime I'm on that robot, I get to play the theme song from Pacific Rim, and it's going to be an amazing time. Biggest thing I want out of this new game is the experience of dungeons. I would
Yeah.
like that experience of dungeons back. Shrines are cool, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from the divine beasts, and even the divine beasts felt like mini dungeons. You didn't
Yeah.
really get that feeling of a dungeon until you played the Champions Ballet DLC with that
Mhm.
final divine beast before you get the motorcycle. I want some classic themed dungeon areas. Even if we don't get a special weapon or anything out of it, I want that. I want that aspect back in Zelda because that was the one thing I was missing a whole hell of a lot from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I agree.
Thank you, Catherine. I don't have her permission so much as her heavy size. She puts up with a lot from me.
Yes. Yeah. Now that I don't know how this got into my mind again, but that the Zelda games are dark. Breath of the
Mhm.
Wild was pretty dark. It's
Breath of
like
the Wild got dark, yeah.
yeah, because you lost your friends are dead, your crush is locked fighting the archvillain.
Mm-hmm.
What do? You're alone here. That's another thing is that I read you growing up, all grown up. Oh, it felt so good to see read you. Oh, like oh
Aw.
my god. Yeah. But what do now?
Yeah.
Also, my general challenge to the rest of the internet, though this will not be heated: stop creeping on Riju. Stop.
Oh
She
no.
is 12
Yeah.
years old in Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild. Stop it.
Yeah, that's just weird. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I
All
really
right.
want to see also Dungeons. Sorry, DC.
You know, I wanted to give a shout out to a character that's been a backbone since the first Legend of Zelda, and only in the instruction manual.
Mm-hmm.
This is Impa. Link, Impa is in the instruction manual for the Legend of Zelda. Impa is a handmaiden to Zelda, is sent
Mm-hmm.
out to find someone, is assailed. Link appears. Where Link comes from, we don't know. But Link comes out and helps Impa, and Impa goes, "You're probably the hero we're looking for." And then in the
I'm
right,
sorry. I was like, yeah, that's 100% right, but it's very much a, oh, you're not trying to kill me. How would you like to save the kingdom?
right. And then in the Zelda 2 instruction manual, again, these things are not explained in the game at all. These are only in the instruction manuals. In Zelda 2, which has this weird loose connection to the first one, because they say, Link is that hero. He's defeated Ganon, and now the kingdom's recovering. But now Link is 16, and he gets the Triforce symbol mysteriously appears on his hand, and he goes to Impa, and Impa's part of this old tribe. And so we already get the idea of this tribe of people, and puts his hand up to this thing, and there's a Princess Zelda sleeping in this area that was put there. And what happens to the current Princess Zelda? We don't know. They just, man.
Nope.
There's a sleeping
By
Zelda
the end
though,
of the game, there's two Zeldas
and
in the same space. Yeah.
yeah, and so you have to wake up the sleeping Zelda, and this is the first time. This is the first time that there's a third Triforce, because in the first game there's only two Triforces, and it's the second game where we start getting all three again.
Yep.
And then Impa appears again, I think, in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, where she is a badass.
She's a badass. You look at her, you're like, I don't want to mess with you. Nope. No. And then finally, in Breath of the Wild, my favorite form of Impa is she's this person that has trained people. She's powerful. She runs an entire village now, and has been advisor to Zelda.
We also get her Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword. Okay.
She is a badass in Skyward Sword, and again, apologies for spoilers for an old game. She's also the old woman because yay, time travel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we don't get to see that until the end, right? I am Impa. That's right. With the thing that's like, yeah.
Shout out to Impa, man.
Shout out to Impa.
There's a
MVP.
there's a character that started off as just a backbone that was in the story, but also not in the story, and that finally got some recognition. And I was just, when I reached that point in Breath of the Wild, it delighted me.
Yeah.
I love that meeting though.
Yes.
Of you look like a good kid. You're not a monster trying to kill me. I'm gonna push you towards this cave with an old man with a sword. And Link's like, I am 12. What is this?
Okay. She wasn't in the Twilight Princess, right?
I remember there was a mention. It was like some obscure bit of lore that you actually had to find, but no, I don't remember her actually being a character in it.
Okay, so another thing, the skeleton that you fight to get all the abilities in Twilight Princess, that's Link that died, right?
Yeah, that was the previous hero. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that game is really dark now that I think about it. And also like Ganondorf kills one of the sages.
Yeah, in Twilight Princess, when they're trying to execute him,
Hmm.
he manages the whole thing of Demise's masterstroke of getting his incarnation to lay hands on the Triforce of Power. It was in that moment that the Triforce of Power, even though that Ganon had not gone to the Sacred Realm or got the Triforce or anything like that, just popped onto his hand. He breaks free. He decimates, just completely disintegrates one of the sages, and they're like, and they send him to the Twilight Realm because they can't kill him. They just ran him through, and this dude is still ticking. So into the Twilight Realm with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I think about it, that's a pretty dark game. Are the
Very dark game.
Are all the sages like spirits? Or did they die? Like
Depends.
I'm talking about Ocarina of Time specifically.
All right. In Ocarina of Time, no matter what timeline you're breaking off to, the sages are still very much alive. They are just in kind of that in between realm. Um, so if the hero's defeated, they're the ones who seal Ganon away. If the hero's triumphant, they, along with Princess Zelda, seal him away, and then Link either gets sent back, or we go to the timeline where he wasn't there, and their descendants carry on that tradition, so to speak. So in the adult timeline, for instance, when we start thinking about meeting these characters and they eventually become sages, the Korok that you meet, being a descendant of one of the Kokiri, that Kokiri was a descendant of one of the sages of Saria, who then himself became a sage along with the other sages. So there's always at least these 6 sages, and then the capstone 7th one being whatever Zelda incarnation is at that time.
Oh, sorry. I was like, oh, that's
Oh,
another.
Saria.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a lot of. We can talk about this a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I apologize again. I can go off for hours about this stuff. So yeah.
Like I said, like on break, you can talk to me about Zelda whenever you want. Especially love lore dumps. This is something
5-hour panel. Some of us got to eat.
5-hour panel. No. Oh my god. Yeah.
So, okay, do we want to go another few minutes here, or because we've already gone 2 hours, amazingly enough?
I mean, unless there's like anything else burning, because I can talk about lore all day, but as far as like the new game about to drop or anything like that, unless there's something burning that y'all would like to discuss on that subject, I'm pretty much good.
I'm good to talk. Yeah, but I'm all good now. Whatever you decide. This has been so fun, and I love all the lore dumps. I have my mind blown a bunch of times today in this stream. So thank you, DC, and thank you, Xero, for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, this came together last night at around midnight my time. Due to a Twitter thread. And then suddenly I'm like, do we want to do this? And like, when do we have time to do it? Well, how about tomorrow? Okay. And then Robo made an amazing graphic for us. And just like, I'm like, I need to go to sleep, but yes. Do these things.
I didn't even think of that.
It was hilarious. I woke up this morning and saw the image that Robo had made. I hadn't even had coffee yet. And I was just like, oh, that looks so good. What are we doing?
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, it was last night. I'm like, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it tomorrow. Okay. And now we're here.
And now we're here.
You're welcome, Internet.
You're welcome, Internet. Fact is, we all love Zelda, and we don't hide that fact at all. It's been a great game for us, as I hope you've experienced our love and joy for it. So thank you so much for being here for that. Is there any final thoughts we want to kind of wrap up with here then, or anything we want to say about the game we haven't said? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that when the new game again begins, when the new game comes out, we're gonna have to do this again to
Yes.
discuss
Yes.
everything again. I'm sorry, this is a contract. I'm making the contract, verbally contract, so I'm sorry.
Seconded. Let's do this.
Let's do this. All right. So there will be another panel whenever we decide we have gone through Tears of the Kingdom enough to talk about it. So
Yeah, thank you, Duval.
it might be a while.
Oh, there you go.
Because
Duval signed off.
oh, awesome. All right. Well, then, yeah, it's binding now. In at least 28 states. So yeah, the way this just came together, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put this on my channel. Okay, overlay. Okay, we'll just use my overlay. Okay, what else are we gonna do? I'm gonna put this together, and that was my thing. I'm like, I agreed to put this on my channel. Oh boy, where are people gonna go? Where are we gonna use? Okay, yeah, well, I'll do it. Yes, let's go. Yes.
And that is why DC is producer to the stars.
Yes, I agree. DC, everybody should hire DC as the producer because he's magical.
Wait. I think my finger's gonna slip again. Y'all keep talking.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you so much, DC, for like producing this thing and like coming up with the overlays and everything. And also, this is my first time using Guest Star on here on Twitch, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I really love. Oops.
Oops.
There's a link. You can
go hit his coffee, whatever. Go give him money.
I love that you say that because I don't know. Is it coffee? Coffee? I don't know.
I never know.
Yes. Just say. Yeah.
So
do we want to do outros?
Yeah. We're getting to outros. So let's go around. Let's Robo, let's start with you. It's
me, Robogoblin. You can find me at TTRP Gifts everywhere. My pronouns are any pronouns. I was not playing any character. I'm sorry, I'm just going through the stuff that I always say when I'm on stream, but okay. This was so fun. Thank you so much to Xero and DC for doing all this and just being amazing and talking the hell out of Zelda stuff. It's my favorite franchise ever. I love this lore. I love everything in this game, and just talking to you and your enthusiasm is contagious. And thank you so much for this.
Robo, what's going on tomorrow that Duval just pointed out?
Oh shit! Yes. Shout outs. Yes. Tomorrow I'm on Ampestrano at noon my time, which is Pacific time, which is 3:00 Eastern time on D&D Jordan Lee's channel, and it's Ampestrano where I play druid that wild chips into an owlbear. So yeah, thank you so much, Lawyer Duval, for that.
It's like pointing to the contract. No, you got stipulation here. You got to talk about this every time.
All right. Any other projects you want to run up? Do you have commissions
TransCon.
Open? Anything? Oh,
yes,
TransCon. Yes, talk about TransCon.
TransCon is going to be next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On my channel, TTRP Gifts, we're going to have 27 trans folks playing TTRPGs, from concretes and critters to different, Monster Care Squad, to Slayers, to a lot of games that I've never heard of it, but I'm so excited to see all these players, and they're super nice. And just we're going to be raising money for Trans Lifeline, and just drop by. Their first game is going to be at 7 p.m. Pacific with Super Dylan as the GM of Critters and Concrete. But yeah, so thank you so much.
All right, and check out all that information on twitter.com/TTRPGIFS. Okay, your artificer and mine, Xero.
Hi. I'm Zero Reynolds, and I'm the reason we can't have nice things. You can find me everywhere online at Artificer Industries, at Artificer_IND. Mostly these days, you can find me slinging my content on YouTube, where I cover geeky builds, everything from terrain to mini painting and prompts, how to do it, why you should do it, why I want you to try doing this stuff. One of the builds, very timely, considering that, well, two of the builds, very timely, considering our discussion tonight. One is a memorial that I designed from Breath of the Wild, and the other one is a fully functioning Majora's Mask that is hanging on my wall right now, that the eyes light up, and I tell fun little stories along with them. And that's it.
Awesome. I've been your host, producer for the day, DC. You can find me at most things under DC Lasair. That's DCLASAIR, !DC in my chat. We'll bring up dclasair.bio.link. Go there for all my links. And thank you, Xero. Xero is reversing the kindness war onto me. So thank you. I produce TTRPG actual plays, talks like this. What else do I do? Oh yeah, I'm a moderator of a bunch of channels. I make Notion templates, which you can find here, !templates, for the TTRPG space. That first link will take you to a whole list of templates that I've made for TTRPGs, including a DM screen, a player's journal, and just the other night, because I thought of it, a quick action / spells lookup thing. And what you do is you take your favorite actions or spells, you put them in this chart, and you just click on them and have instant links, have instant lookups. And that way, when your turn comes around, you have your 3 to 4 moves all set up to go, and you can instantly look at them, see what you need to roll. No, you don't have to go through the books to find the page or whatever. It's just all what you put into it, and you can have all that information right there right away. You can even export it out to a PDF or HTML or markup, because that's what Notion allows you to do. And then the second Notion link, the AP production template, is to keep track of your actual play productions from pre-production through post-production. And I also encourage you to export the episode information to PDF or whatever you want, so you have a record of your show. Because one of the things we need, one of the things that will help out people who research this stuff and us, is having records, written records of what went on, and useful for transcripts. And so in building this industry, look at what I've done. And once you hit duplicate and put in your Notion thing, it's yours to change however you want. But take a look at that. Consider doing that. Consider adding these things to your production pipeline. And let's start creating records, because I want us all to succeed in this space. I want to create a solid base for us to do that with. And that's why I do a lot of the tech videos and everything else, because I want to give everybody a good, solid place to grow from and expand and go out to places I can't even think of. So,
Speaking of which, legal department requests you send over the PDF for the, and I quote here, frosting incidents. They need to know whether or not to bring that forward to a grand jury. Thank you. We'll settle up after the stream.
just a bit of frosting, and, can improve frosting.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Xero, Robo, this was fantastic. When being able to share the joy of a game, of a series, is wonderful. This is my talk earlier with Tanya DePass, and now this really highlight of my weekend. Both these things. Thank you for being part of that. Thank you all in chat for watching and commenting. It's been fantastic to see you all. Please be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. I will see you at Rivals of Waterdeep on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then come back here Monday where I'll be playing Vampire Survivors at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, because there's a DLC and it's fantastic. So come watch
Hell
that
yeah.
chaos. And let's see here. And that's all. Thank you once again to Xero and Robo. Follow them on all the things. Hire them for all the things. And be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. I'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.